Hi everybody. I just thought I would jump on here today and have a little chat to you about fear in relationships, because this is something that a lot of people actually go through, and unfortunately they actually do this unnecessarily. So what is fear? Okay, what is it? Fear, I'm sure you've probably heard of that old acronym saying that fear is false evidence appearing real. Hello Aaron, how are you? So what does that actually mean? Okay, it means that as humans, we can really put fear into us over absolutely nothing at all. We can think about something down the track that we find scary that hasn't even happened. Did you know that human beings are the only species that do that? Okay, we do. So when an animal is in fear, it's about immediate danger. Hi Kim, hi Sue. It's about immediate danger. So an animal, if they sense danger, they act accordingly. But what we humans do is we will think about something that may happen, may not even happen, will never happen, and then turn it into something like, catastrophic. So what happens when we have fear in our relationships? The answer is we can sabotage our relationships. Now, Luke did a video this morning about self-sabotage, and this is a little bit of a continuation about that, but more so in relationships. So there are many, many, many types of fear. Hello, Carolyn, lovely to see you. So there are many, many types of fears, and I'm going to go through a few today, because these are fears that people have within their relationship. So the first one is the fear of being judged. And, who wants to be judged by their partner? We really don't. We don't want to be judged by our partner, but we can be judged by our friends, we can be judged by our peers, we can be judged by strangers. But this is more about, being in a relationship. And judgment can come from, a simple thing about expressing an opinion. And, when we're in a relationship, it's really important that we are able to express our opinions. We're able to communicate the way we think, because what happens is if we express an opinion and then our partner just shoots us down, well, what does it do? It actually closes that gap of communication. If we can't be truthful, speak our truth, and be honest with things that are happening around us in regard to our partner and our relationship, well, what happens is, the next time we want to speak up, we don't, because we have that fear already planted that, oh my God, my partner's going to judge me. What are they going to think? And therefore, it closes the gap of communication. And it's devastating when that happens. The next one is fear of rejection. And this could be as simple as, wanting to, show affection, but then, you get pushed away. But people who suffer from fear of rejection also have the tendency to blow things out of proportion. So an example would be, as in a relationship, if your partner is out, okay, for example, if they've gone out to do whatever, you send them a text and you're sitting there and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting, and they don't get back to you straight away. And then what happens is you start to overthink it. Like, where are they? What are they doing? When in simple reality, they could be busy, they could be on the phone, they could be driving, and they really can't get back to you right at that time. People who fear rejection also read into things way too much. And again, that is a perfect example. And that actually makes people really uncomfortable when they read into things like that. But in a relationship, again, someone who fears rejection can also become really clingy, and it actually damages the relationship. It's like, you know, when you've got someone in your relationship who's really clingy, it's almost suffocating. But it's because of their fear of being rejected. You know, again, it's devastating. It's like a merry-go-round that you can't get off. Okay. Hi, Thomas. Hi, Nicola. So the next one is fear of embarrassment. And this could be, again, as simple as wanting to express something to your partner. If you, if you want to get a little bit playful, but then you may embarrass yourself. You know, your partner may not react the way you want. And I mean, you know, at the end of the day, we all do things that embarrass ourselves. But when we're in a relationship, you know, there's a lot of give and take. You've got to be able to play. You've got to be able to, you know, to have fun. You know, and this unfortunately is something that happens, and we get embarrassed, and then we don't want to do that again. So again, it's like the merry-go-round. It's that vicious circle. And all of these fears, what they're really doing is they're hindering the way we communicate in our relationships, because relationships are not 50-50. Relationships are 100% from you and 100% from me, not 50-50 to bring 100%. You know, and this is something that, you know, when I'm working with couples, that comment actually turns on a light bulb. It's like, oh, it's not 50-50, it's 100-100. You have to put in 100% into your relationships. Another fear that people go through is that fear of abandonment, a fear of being alone. And if we've had, relationships in the past where someone has left us and we've been absolutely devastated, we can actually then go into another relationship with that fear on board. And it's really challenging. It's really, really challenging, because if you're going into a relationship with fear already, you know, you're already destined to be unhappy. You're already destined to have an unfulfilling relationship until, you know, we learn to enjoy our own company. You know, we've got to be happy with ourselves. We've got to be able to learn to love ourselves before we can love anyone else. Absolutely, Kim. It's 100% from everybody, not 50-50. And, you know, this is really crucial to having a relationship that is successful. But, you know, going into a relationship with fear and fear of being alone, you know, it's not a good way to be. You know, it's really not. And then we also have the fear of failure. So, you know, I myself personally, you know, I've been divorced. I've also, you know, had a long-term relationship that didn't work out. So I had to do a lot of work on me, right? And I did for a little while think, wow, you know, I really suck at this relationship stuff. And I don't know if I'm ever going to find that person. But it wasn't until I did the work on me where I found Luke. But unfortunately what can happen is you can go into a relationship thinking, shit, you know, I failed. So how do I know I'm not going to fail at this one? Fear of failure is going to hold that relationship back, because you're always going to have this doubt in your mind that, gee whiz, is it going to work? What am I going to do that's going to stuff it up? So it's, you know, fear is huge. It causes so much angst with so many people. The other fear that you can have in a relationship is fear of expressing your feelings. You know, and if we can't express our feelings, what is that doing to our partner? You know, what is that actually showing them? You know, we can, you know, often come out of that we can express that in a really destructive way. And if we can't express our feelings, what happens? It comes out in anger. It can come out, you know, in explosive outbursts. You know, if we're not expressing our feelings, it also can manifest illness. And, you know, we don't want that. You know, we want relationships where we can be expressive, tell our partners how much we love them, absolutely, you know, be able to go, you know, I love you, I'm grateful for you, I'm grateful for these things about you. And let me tell you, this is something that Luke and I do on a daily basis. We are always in gratitude. We are always in gratitude for each other on so many levels. And I know that there are people out there that find it really scary to really open up and speak their truth. But if you want success in a relationship with your partner, you've got to push yourself. You've got to push yourself to speak your truth. I've been in relationships where I haven't been able to do that. And every time, you know, you sort of go to say something, but then you pull back. You pull back because you just, you know, you're scared of what that other person might think or what that other person might say. And I know that before I met Luke, I made a promise to myself that I was going to be expressive in my next relationship. I was not going to fear judgment of what someone might say if I wanted to speak my truth. I promised myself that I would be playful. I wasn't allowed to do that in past relationships. And this brings us to the next one. You know, and this is a big one. For a lot of people, there is also fear around intimacy, which is really sad. You know, intimacy and, you know, having that reluctance to open up to your partner can actually hurt them as well. And we don't want to be emotionally closed off to our partner. We want to be vulnerable. We want to show them that they can be vulnerable with us. You know, it's scary, but you know what? It's worth it when you push past these barriers. You know, there's no point hiding. There's no point hiding who you are. I mean, you know, I've had many women that I've worked with that have had this fear around, you know, being naked in front of their husbands, but they've been married for, you know, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. But somewhere along the line in regard to their communication, there's been some sort of breakdown where they've stopped loving themselves because of something that their partner has said maybe. And then they start to pull back. They don't want their partners to see them naked. They want to, you know, make love with the lights off instead of with the lights on. And it brings all these fears around being intimate. We don't want that. You know, we certainly don't want that. You know, and then there's this other fear, okay, which is a really big one, and that's the fear of not being good enough. Okay, and in relationships, it's like, am I being a good partner? Am I being a good enough mother? You know, and that fear, unfortunately, is the fear that is really to the root of all the other fears that I've just spoken about. The fear of not being good enough, it's huge, you know, and some of the common signs of fear of not being good enough playing out in our lives comes out in comparing yourselves to others. So maybe what you're doing, you're comparing your relationship to someone else. Hi Chantel, thank you for watching. You know, you're comparing yourself to others. You know, you're thinking, oh, this person's relationship is better than mine. You know, there's judgment. It's bringing in insecurities around your relationship. Hi, Justine. You know, and that then, hi, Emma, that comes into then, you know, lack of self-esteem, where we're not, again, communicating with our partner. We're doubting our abilities to be a good partner, again, to be a good mother. We start to try and be a perfectionist. And that's really hard. It's so hard to keep that up day after day after day. And there's no need to be this hard on yourself. Okay, and this is, you know, in the work that I do with couples and with, you know, with women who are wanting to find that relationship, you know, and as you know, we've got some really special stuff coming up that Luke mentioned in the last video. You know, we want to help couples get their relationship back on track. You know, as I said, like Luke and I have both been divorced. We've had major relationship stuff ups, you know, and, you know, we both own our part in that. You know, I know that part of my breakup, I was at cause as well. You know, yeah, I was at effect a long time ago, blaming, but you know what, now I'm at cause. And with the work that we do, we want our, I guess, our suffering or our challenges to be your learning. And we have so much that we are going to be able to give you, especially coming up with what we've got, what we're releasing very, very soon. And I know a lot of you know exactly what I'm talking about, but I'm not going to talk about it on this live. But I hope this video was really helpful to you, because you don't realize how many types of fear that we bring in to our relationships. And, you know, if you want your relationship to be solid, to be on track, without comparing yourself. Hi, Julie. I'm sorry. And hi, Lisa. How are you? You know, if you want your relationship to be solid, to be, you know, you want compatibility, you want communication, you want love, you want passion, all of those things, that relationship cannot exist with all of these fears present in your relationship at all. Like those fears need to be cleared out. So, you know, if there's anyone out there that wants more information, would like to have a chat to me, just send me a message, put yes in the comments, share the video, which, you know, we would love you to do, you know, because it's our mission to help as many people as possible to have loving, passionate and blissful relationships. So I hope you all enjoyed that. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Hi, Vanessa, this is the end. You'll have to go back and watch. But anyway, love to you all. Love to everyone that supports us on a daily basis. We have so much coming up. We are very, very excited. And as I said, have an amazing day.